Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. It is the game preview ahead of our Premier League fixture against Tottenham Hotspur away on Monday evening. I'm joined by Cal today. Me and Cal are going to sit down and talk about Monday's game. We're going to give our predicted starting 11. You can see mine on the screen there. Cal's going to go through his when we talk about it as well. Obviously Everton coming off the back of a really good win against Leicester on Wednesday. Not a fantastic performance by all means, but a good win nevertheless, and a really good 3 points. Coming up against the Spurs side, who have done okay since the restart. 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss. The loss obviously coming yesterday, as we're recording this on Friday, yesterday to Sheffield United 3-1. Currently 9th in the Premier League table, 12 wins, 9 draws and 11 losses, just 1 point behind Everton as well. So this is a big game in regards to the Premier League table as well. If we can win, if we can beat Spurs, then obviously we'll go above them. The fight for Europe that Carlo Ancelotti is saying that, you know, is going to be tough, but it's still on. Well, obviously that'll give us a big boost in that as well. And ultimately, like I said, we want to finish as high as possible in the Premier League table. We want to be in and around those sides. You know, even if we don't get a European finish this season, we still want to be in and around there, and beating Spurs on Monday will give us a big boost in doing that. Also, a club that we don't notoriously do well against away from home. I don't want to say they're part of the big six because they're not in the top six, and then, you know, they haven't been good this season. And you know, but the big six, I'm talking the, you know, United, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, the side that when we go away from home to, we don't notoriously do well. And I know that United and Arsenal are both, you know, quite poor and not in that big six bracket, but those are the teams that we don't do well against away from home, and this is a big opportunity for us to go out there, no fans in the stadium, and get a big win. And if we do get a big win, then that's 2 big wins against 2 really good sides in the space of a week or so that I think we can take and look really positively towards for the end of the season. So Cal, how are you doing, mate? How's things? How's life been? Obviously still in lockdown. How have you been?
I've been great, mate. Obviously, the restrictions have been, they're not as heavy as they were, the last time we did a video. Like, they have been, lowered, and, you can go out now,
Yeah,
really,
that's it.
for everything. And, I've got to say, if it weren't for footy and, not boxing, but MMA and all that, and everything coming back, I think I would have went completely insane. Like, it's great having footy back.
It's
Like,
good.
as much as they depress me, I have
Yeah,
missed them. I really have
that's
missed
it.
us.
That's it. It's good to see Everton back in. It's certainly when, you know, with Carlo Ancelotti and the positivity around the football club, and seeing,
Hmm.
you know, I know the performances weren't great against Norwich and Leicester, but we won the games, and that's all that matters. I said
Exactly.
it in me review yesterday. I know you were watching, Cal. I'd rather us, if we win games of football, I'd happily sit there and be bored out my head for 90 minutes as long as we come away with the
Yeah.
win, rather than saying, oh, that was a good game, but we didn't win. So anyway, on to Monday's game then. It's going to be a tough fixture. Listen, Spurs haven't had a fantastic season in comparison to some of their previous seasons. Obviously, sacking Mauricio Pochettino a little bit way through the season. Jose Mourinho coming in and adopting that sort of style of play that Mourinho does adopt, that we've seen when he was at Manchester United, where he sort of shuts teams down. He likes to defend, but he's also got the attacking players to hurt teams. You like to see your Harry Kanes, of course, Lucas Moura, Son, who, you know, will know well from the reverse fixture. Stephen Bergwijn joined in January. Very good player in my opinion. Really dangerous. So just briefly then, before we go into the predicted starting 11s and talk a little bit more about the game, initially, how do you feel about this game? Obviously coming off the back of a good win against Leicester. What did you think overall about the performance, and are you confident going into Monday?
Look, lad, I think I say this a lot, look at the red shite. They've played poor really in most games, but they got the results, and that's what shows the quality of a team, is getting the results, grinding them out, and that's what we've done this season under Ancelotti. I wouldn't really say we've had one perfect game really where we played great football. Maybe the Burnley one, but we just didn't finish our dinner there. But we're getting the results. We're beating top sides, Leicester. You know, no one expected us to beat a side like Leicester. We should have beat
Yeah,
Manchester United a few months
yeah.
back. When I
Arsenal as
said
well when we
this,
promote.
the game exactly the games against Leicester, we would have lost under Marco Silva. We would not have been able to, come through and take that amount of pressure and and defend that well. We would have lost. And the Leicester game, there's a lot of negatives, but there's just more positives, and that's what I like to see. There's still problems in the side. There's still players that I know we all don't want in the starting 11. Gylfi, maybe the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson, Davies, he's up and down. In my opinion, Pickford, but they're performing. They said this. They're fighting for their life at Everton, and you know what? every single player fought for the badge on, against Leicester, and that's what all we asked for. It was a great performance, great tactical performance, Ancelotti. You know what, Pete? The Reds can come on and laugh at us. We have the best manager in world football. I said this, in May. We have the best manager on earth. He proved that. Came on, tough Leicester team, great team, great manager. Great, as much as he's a twat, he's a great manager, and they couldn't beat us, and we just stopped it. Probably the best striker in the country from scoring past us in Jamie Vardy. So I'm buzzing at the moment, and I think going into this game, I don't understand why we can't win this game. I don't understand why we can't get 3 points. A draw for me is a disappointment. I think we're in better form. We've got better players, some places on the pitch. I'm feeling very confident. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win.
You're spot on, listen, and I think you've just hit the nail perfectly on the head there. There's no reason as to why we can't win this game, and we shouldn't feel like we can win this game. One thing we saw out of Everton on Wednesday against Leicester was a tactical change by Carlo Ancelotti that turned the game completely on its head. Carlo Ancelotti saw that we were very good in the first half. We went out there, we got the 2 goals in the first 20 minutes, we attacked them, we used our presence, we were good on the ball. The second half, as soon as we lost that little bit of concentration in the first couple of minutes and they scored, the pressure piled on us. We were struggling with it. Jordan Pickford was making rash errors. The defence were coming under a lot of pressure. They dealt with it very, very well, don't get me wrong, but they were coming under a lot of pressure. And Carlo Ancelotti...
It was the midfield.
The midfield as well, yeah. The midfield were completely ran to bits because, obviously James Maddison come on for Leicester, very, very good player, good on the ball, and Didi started to get the ball a lot more and use his energy, and Andre Gomez and Gylfi Sigurdsson couldn't keep up. I think Gylfi Sigurdsson had an okay game on the ball when he had the ball. I think he used it well. Gomez, I was a bit hit and miss with. I think the last sort of 20 minutes he done okay, but the rest of the game I wasn't massively impressed with him. But we were still getting overrun, no matter how good Gylfi was on the ball. He wasn't getting to players, he wasn't picking up plays, he wasn't chasing players down, and Carlo Ancelotti saw that, and he made a tactical decision, and he made I said it in the review yesterday, a proactive decision. He saw the danger, he saw what was happening, and he went, you know what, I'm putting Yerry Mina on, and I'm just going to play 5 at the back, and I'm going to tell the midfield to sit back, so that way when Leicester break us, when James Maddison's got the ball, when Ndidi's got the ball, when Ben Chilwell's got the ball on the left hand side, they aren't looking up with loads of space for fellow Leicester players to run into.
Exactly.
Jamie Vardy can't run behind the defence. Iheanacho can't run behind the defence, because when their wingers look up, when their creative players look up, it's just 8 Everton players standing there going, come on then, you can only get through us one way and have to put the ball at us. And every time they were doing that, we were dealing with it. And you could sort of see in the last 15 minutes of the game against Leicester had sort of ran out of ideas. And I don't want to tarnish them and say it felt like they gave up, but for me it sort of felt like they were like, we can't do anything here. We've been pinned back. They're defending for their lives, and they're good defending. One thing I've noticed since Carlo Ancelotti's taken over at Everton Football Club, whether it's Mina and Keane, whether it's Keane and Holgate, whether it's Holgate and Mina, the defence has been so solid. We've looked so much better than we have in years. It's a typical Italian style defence where it's just any ball that comes in. Exactly. Any ball that comes in, you get rid of. You use your body. You put yourself on the line. If you can run out with the ball, do it. If you can't, stick it in Rose Ed. And we seen that yesterday on Wednesday. And like you said, a lot of that was down to Carlo Ancelotti's tactical prowess and knowing when he needed to change that game. So going into Monday then, obviously, again, another tough game. In terms of the table, obviously Leicester in a better position than Spurs, but Spurs are a good team, like I said, good attacking players. You're right, there's no reason why we can't go into it. There's no reason why we can't win it. There's no reason why we shouldn't be confident. Obviously, like I said, 1 point above Everton. It's a big game in regards to the Premier League table as well. We'll go through our predicted start 11s, then we'll do it position by position, and then we'll talk about the impact on what winning this game could do for the team's mentality in regards to getting that win over one of those sides in one of those grounds that we haven't done notoriously well at. And usually every season you look at Spurs and you think they're the team we should be beating, they're the team we should be aiming to beat. We've seen Sheffield United do it. Listen, Sheffield United didn't have a great start to the return. They sort of dipped off a little bit. The momentum you can see the lack of momentum hit them a little bit, but they went out there and they beat them and they showed their quality, and I think it's important that we show our quality. Obviously Spurs 1-0 draw with Man United in the first game back, beat West Ham 2-0, which isn't isn't, the hardest thing to do. They are shite, and obviously lost to Sheffield United yesterday. So going into our predicted starting 11, then before we talk about going away to Spurs and picking up a win, and obviously their key players. I'll start with my goalkeeper and back four, and then you can go at yours, and then we'll move on that way. So I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Again, not many options, obviously goalkeeper wise. Jordan Pickford done okay against Leicester, made one absolutely fantastic save in the first half to deny Johnny Evans. Had a little bit of a mare in the second half, sort of become a little bit too erratic, a little bit was worrying, was panicking. You could see he wasn't calm. You could see he needed that team talk from Carlo Ancelotti to just say, listen, calm down, stop panicking, stop worrying, just calm down. But ultimately, there's no other option. It's the Jordan Pickford's in there for me. Left back, I've gone for Luke Dean again. Thought he's done okay against Leicester. Thought he's done well for the 3 games, to be honest with you. He hasn't blown anyone's skirts. I've obviously got an assist against Norwich, but he's done his job. He's done what he needs to do defensively. He's remained solid. He's stopped their right-hand side. He's stopped their attack, and he's shown a good defensive performance over the last 3 games. That's one thing I've noticed with both fullbacks, actually, Seamus Coleman as well, is that although they haven't been as we would maybe expect in terms of their attack and play, which is what we've come to expect from your Luca Deans and your Seamus Colemans, because we know how good they are attacking. Defensively, they've been fantastic. They haven't hardly put a foot wrong. Going into centre-backs, then I've gone for Mason Holgate and Michael Keane. I know Cal's gone for a little bit of a different one, so we'll hear that in a second, which will be interesting. But again, Michael Keane, I think it was absolutely fantastic once again on Wednesday. Saved us the game after that Jordan Pickford error, cleared the ball off the line, obviously scored the winner against Norwich the week before. I think since the restart, he's probably been our best player, and I think it'd be very, very hard for anybody to disagree. Don't get me wrong, Mason Holgate's been fantastic as well, and that's why he starts next to Michael Keane for me. But I think Michael Keane's been absolutely unbelievable. Again, like I said, Mason Holgate come in, done okay. Possibly a fault for the goal against Leicester. I think it's a little bit unlucky and will maybe be a little bit unfair to put that on him. But, again, still quite solid defensively, got the balls out, used his body well. So I think those two will stay. Don't get me wrong, Yerry Mina done well when he come on, and I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Yerry Mina because he's a big physical presence. However, personally, I'd stick with the two that I think have played so well since the restart. And then right back, I've gone for Seamus Coleman. Jabril Sidibe is fit for this game. Carlo Ancelotti announced in his pre-game press conference earlier on today that Jabril Sidibe is fit. Theo Walcott and Fabian Delph still out injured. However, I was humming and hawing about putting Sidibe in there. I sat and I thought, when did we play Leicester? When did we play Tottenham? You have 5 games rest. Is that enough for Seamus Coleman? And ultimately, I just think defensively, coming up against players like Kane, Lucas Moura, Son, Bergwijn, fast players, you need a defender, you need a fullback for me who, okay, Seamus Coleman might be able to keep up with those type of players for pace and for energy, but he's got the football and brain to understand where those players are going to move and where he needs to be, whereas I just question as to whether Sidibe has that. So that's my goalkeeper and back four. Carl, do you want to go ahead and name your goalkeeper and back four, and then we'll have a little bit of a discussion, explain it, do what you like.
In net, let's be honest, we're not going to play Stekelenburg in net because it's Stekelenburg, so Pickford for me, he's the only really choice there. Right back, I've gone for Seamus. I think Coleman's been incredible, to be fair, since coming back. He's been solid, and he's had a lot of games this year where he's caught himself out of position, but that's because of the Marco Silva style, that he was always out of position. And since Ancelotti's come in, I don't want to say he's improved as a player, because it was only 2 or 3 years ago he was the best right back in the country, but this year he's grew as a player. He's gotten better, and he's back to the old Coleman. Yeah, he's lost the pace, but he's improved. Left back, the best left back in the world, not just the country, in the world, Lucas Digne. No one's on his level. And if you think Robertson is, then you don't watch footy. Centre backs, I've gone for a different turn to you. I've gone for Keane. I don't think Keane has done anything. He's not put a foot wrong. The mistake, obviously the mistake against Leicester, but that was more of Pickford's fault, a lack of communication from the keeper.
He done well to recover that.
But Keane saved us. Yeah, he saved us in 3 games. So I don't. I think it'd be unfair on his confidence to drop him, because you can't have a player who works on confidence and then drop him after he's had a good run of form. And then next, you went for Holgate, but as much as I love Holgate, I've gone for Yerry Mina, because Harry Kane, the wingers are rapid, but the fullback can deal with them. It's the fact that Harry Kane has that physical presence, and he has it in the air as well. And that he might not beat him in the air. We've seen Keane struggle when we played Newcastle against Andy Carroll. But the difference is, we've got Yerry Mina, who is, let's be honest, not many people are going to out-strength Yerry Mina. He's a beast. So, and for me, he looked solid when he came on against Leicester. He came on, and Vardy looked like Vardy looked like Niasse for the last few minutes. You know what I mean? Like he was quiet, and Mina, we know how good Mina is. So yeah, what do you think of that back four that I've went for? Well, the back five, so to say, that I've
I
went
think it's
for.
good. Obviously, only one change to my one. Holgate coming out for Yerry Mina. I think the important thing to realise is we all sat here and I spoke to you, and we spoke multiple times about it, whether it be on stream or in conversation on Instagram, about, when the Premier League returns, there's going to be a lot of squad rotation. We're going to see a lot of different players. But the reality of it is, Everton have played 3 games so far since the return of the Premier League, going into the 4th, and we haven't seen that much squad rotation. Okay, we've seen Tom Davies and Gylfi Sigurdsson switch positions a couple of times, and we've seen Anthony Gordon and Bernard switch positions, but for the most part the back four remain the same. Alex Iwobi, I think, started in every game. The 2 strikers have remained the same. Andre Gomez has played in every game, so we haven't seen an awful lot of squad rotation, certainly not as much as we would have expected. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been 5 days between the Leicester game and the Spurs game, so we mightn't see it again, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it, to be honest. I don't think it'd be anything personal to Mason Holgate. I think as long as Mason Holgate knew, listen, you're not getting dropped per se, you're not getting taken out because you had a poor game, you're not getting taken out because you made a mistake, you're getting taken out because we're going to give you a rest, because we don't want to run you into the ground. And Yerry Mina also come on against Leicester, done a job, can do a job, we know he can do a job. Before Mason had this fantastic season, Yerry Mina was our number 1 centre-back, so I think it'd be important, and I think, Mason Holgate would understand that, in the same way as to that if you took a Richarlison out, or a Calvert-Lewin out, or even a Dean or a Coleman, they'd understand that, right, okay, we're taking you out the squad now so that you can be fit for the Wolves game, or so that you can be fit for the Sheffield United game, because, you look at our fixtures, we've got Spurs on Monday, we then play Southampton, then Wolves, Villa, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, a lot of tough games. Wolves, Sheffield United, in their teams that are in and around our area, in and around our position, in the league, that are fighting for European football, so there is going to need to be squad rotation. So I like it, mate, I like it. Like I said, I'd probably go with Holgate, just because I think there's been enough time to rest, but I wouldn't be opposed if Yerry Mina was in there, because, like I said, it would give Holgate a bit of a rest, and I agree. I think he's a big physical presence, and he'd be able to hold off Harry Kane. Not that Mason wouldn't, but I think, obviously he's a big.
You'd trust Yerry more, don't you?
He's a big unit, isn't he? And like I said, he's he's dominant, and he's shown that against Leicester when he come on, and all he had to do was be dominant and not make a mistake, and he done that. I think he will see an awful lot more of Yerry Mina before the end of the season, certainly. Going into the midfield, then we'll go for the 4. I assume have you gone for a 4-4-2, or have you changed formation slightly?
Yeah. Let's be honest, we know what Carlo's going to play. It's a 4-4-2.
So we'll go for the 2 centre mids and the right and left mid. So I've gone for Andre Gomez and Gylfi Sigurdsson in the middle. Thought Gylfi had a good game the other day. Again, scored the penalty, the winner, which, again, we got a penalty, which still baffles me to this day, but he scored it. On the ball, done very, very well. His passing was good. His movement was, again, what you'd expect from Gylfi Sigurdsson. Listen, I think with our midfield, and I'll talk about it when I talk about why I put Gomez in, we haven't got a perfect midfield. It's very, very, very clear that we need 2 midfielders in the summer as a matter of urgency, absolute urgency. I'd be looking at bringing in 2 midfielders before I'm looking at bringing in fresh biscuits for the tea, or before I'm looking at going and bringing in water for the players, because we just need them that urgent. So when you look at our midfield, ultimately you're picking out of Andre Gomez, Gylfi Sigurdsson, and Tom Davies, because Fabian Delph's still injured, and obviously Jean-Philippe Gbamin's still injured. So given that, again, I think Gylfi had a good game the other day. He doesn't get about an awful lot, but none of our midfielders do. But I think on the ball, he done okay. He done enough to keep his place for me. I think the penalty, even though it was a penalty, would have given him a lot of confidence. Next to him, then Andre Gomez. Again, like I said, I really wasn't impressed with Andre Gomez on Wednesday. I thought he had a poor game. He done okay in the last 15-20 minutes. I think he done okay when Carlo Ancelotti gave that talk at the water break, because I think he then started to just pick the ball up, hold the ball, use his body, win fouls, throw himself on the floor when he needed to, pick out a decent pass. I think he just calmed his game down a little bit. But the problem I have with putting in Tom Davies, for example, is Tom Davies had a fantastic game when he come on against Leicester. He done really, really well. He held the ball up well. His movement was good. His passing was good. He done really, really well when he come on. but I just fear that when he starts games of football, he goes missing and he just doesn't know where he needs to be. He doesn't know, why he needs to be there. Carlo Ancelotti spoke about Tom Davies today and said, listen, he's a brilliant lad, very professional. He couldn't believe his age when he first come into the club because of how many Premier League games he's got. He's an Evertonian. He's a big part of the team going forward, and I do think he is a big part of the team because I think he's got a part to play in this squad. But I don't necessarily think that's starting Premier League games because from what I've seen, I think we're in another situation here where we go, right, okay, Tom Davies had a good performance, coming off the bench, start him in this game, and I don't want to be sitting here on Monday going, Tom's had a shocker there, he should be on the bench again. I'd rather him have the same impact that he had on Wednesday coming off the bench on Monday than not having a great start. So they're my central midfielders. Onto the wingers then. I've gone for Anthony Gordon on one wing and Bernard. I think Anthony Gordon 100% deserves to keep his place. Brilliant performance against Leicester. Fantastic assist. Not only the assist itself, but the touch to give him the space to get in the box and ultimately put the ball across to Richarlison was absolutely fantastic. The energy as well. And, not only that, but his overall game after that, he was really, really good on the ball. Not doing anything stupid. Not passing the ball wildly, not trying to take men on 350 times, just using the ball. If it was an easy pass, he'd play it. A couple of little fancy flicks as well that on another day could have gone our way. So I think he definitely deserves his opportunity again. And I've gone for Bernard on the other wing, and purely because I wasn't massively impressed with Iwobi the other day. Didn't think he'd done an awful lot. His passing was okay and his dribbling was okay at times, but in the second half he massively faded out. And I think coming up against the Spurs side with a lot of pace and in their fullbacks, a lot of pace in their wingers, I think we need a winger that is quick enough to get about the pitch for the entirety of the game. Because again, I just feel that Alex Iwobi at times, I just don't think he's a winger, and I think you see that at times with his lack of.
He's very sloppy.
Yeah, he is at times, and look. I think you can afford that when you're coming up against sides that don't necessarily have fast wide players or fast fullbacks because he can use more of his body, he can use more of his energy. But I just think in this game against the Spurs side, who have got a lot of pacey players in that squad, I just think he'd struggle. So anyway, that's my midfield and wingers, right mid, left mid, whatever you want to call it. Give us yours then, Carl. Let's hear it.
The two central. This is obviously it's Tom Davies. Because I thought Gomez was absolutely horrendous from a large amount of the last game. But like I say in the comments, he's not a DM, he's more of a box to box. But the problem is he can't play there because we haven't got a CDM. And to the Benny and Holgate thing, they're inexperienced. I wouldn't want to put Holgate there because that can affect his confidence. He does play in confidence a lot like Keane, so we don't want to affect a good centre back his confidence by playing him in a position. And Benigami, he's slow as hell. So, playing him in a slow midfield is just going to cause loads of problems. And he is a headless chicken. Alongside Davies, I've gone for Gylfi. Let's be honest, he's Carlo's golden egg. Carlo loves him. So we know that he will start. All he needs is one good game, and Ancelotti's going to put him right in there. So that's the two central midfielders. On the left side, I've gone for Gordon. I don't think any of our wingers have been good besides from Gordon. I think Gordon in the Liverpool game, you knew Gordon was going to get involved because they had the more possession, which they were always going to. And they've got the better, as much as I hate them, they've got a much better team and they've got a much better football and brain than most of our players. So they were always going to, know that he's the weakest link, unfortunately, and we're just going to keep getting the ball off him. Now, because he's the youngest, he lacks experience in big games, they're going to get the ball off of him. But the Norwich game, we saw glimpses of his quality, and then the Leicester game, James Justin, he's going to be in a hospital because he's crying, he's holding his teddy bear, asking for his parents because he got bullied by Anthony Gordon. Gordon destroyed them, and he's 18, 19. He looks he's in his 20s. That's how he plays. He's a very good player. And on the right side, I've gone for Sidibe. And I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, Sidibe, why Sidibe? But I think his crossing ability is it is great. And I don't think anyone on the right hand side has proved that they can play there. Bernard tried there and it was awful. Iwobi's up and down. I like Iwobi. I think he's a great player, but one game he'll be one of our best players, and then he'll be crap. And the last time he played Tottenham, which I know was a long time ago, he did lead to their goal. And like you said, against the likes of no disrespect, because I know Norwich hammered us a good, but like the likes of Norwich, Burnley, Aston Villa, you can lose the ball because you can lose the ball. But against the likes of Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, you can't lose the ball. You can't afford to lose it. And because we have attacking fullbacks sometimes, and when they do like to push up, as we know, when we're counter-attacking, if he loses the ball, we were in trouble. There was 3 or 4 times in the first half against Leicester where he tried stupid skill moves that he can't do, and he lost the ball, and it cost us time. So, and Sidibe's been gone, and you know what? I don't really have that much of a problem with Sidibe. I think he's a great player. Yeah, defensively he's not all that, but going forward he's great. So I think we're going to play Sidibe. Yeah, what do you think of that midfield?
Yeah, fair
then?
enough. I think you've got a good point about Sidibe. I think he's better going forward than he is defensively. I think he gets lost sometimes defensively. He finds himself out of position. But in terms of his crossing, you made a really, really good point there. He can't put a ball in the box. And when we've got players who, again, we'll talk about the strikers in just a second, and you see if you've gone for the same two as me. But when we're attacking, and we're going to need to make as many opportunities as we possibly can on Monday, and we're going to need to take those opportunities. And I think having a player who can cross like Sidibe, I think having a player who's got that ability will benefit Everton. I really, really do. In terms of your other midfield, listen, I can't disagree with Tom Davies. He come on, he had a really, really good game, and Andre Gomez didn't have a good game on Wednesday, and that's all it is. I have issues on whether he is more of an impact player than a player that starts games, but I have no real issue with that. With Tom Davies,
we haven't got the squad depth.
Well, exactly, yeah,
that's the problem. We haven't got the squad depth to be doing that.
Right.
Where I'm not before people think I'm not comparing us to a Chelsea or a United or a City or a Liverpool, but they can play like City can play Gundogan, because if Gundogan goes off, they've got Rodri, they've got Fernandinho, Silva, De Bruyne. They've got so many players where if we lose Davis, we've got Gomez, who's probably next to him. And if we lose Gomez, we've got Sigurdsson, and if we lose Sigurdsson, Carlo Ancelotti's going to have to come on the pitch and play midfield.
Which he probably could do, to be fair, because he was a belter midfielder in his time.
We don't have a big squad depth. We only have really 3 fit centre backs. The young lad that we bought from Carlisle, let's be honest, I don't think it's fair enough to play him in such a big game. And that's the problem. We do lack on squad depth, and I think you won't see main starting signings in the summer, but you'll see a lot of not average, but players that can fill in, very versatile players, which I think is what we need.
We do. Listen, we definitely do. We need 2 new midfielders. We probably need another centre half. We need... The reality of the situation is we need more players than we're going to be able to sign in the summer, which is why it's going to take Carlo Ancelotti 2 or 3 years, in my opinion, to really, really get that squad that he is confident with being able to challenge for Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and all that. Carlo said only a couple of days ago that he sees Everton as a team that could be challenging for the Premier League, and I agree with him with Carlo Ancelotti as the manager. I am confident that we could do that, but it's going to take 2 or 3 years for us to get to that point, because we simply haven't got the squad now. So going into the strikers then, I've gone for Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Carlo Ancelotti spoke on Richarlison today, said that he hasn't strained, obviously picked up a little bit of a knock against Leicester. It was a disgusting challenge, really, that was hidden quite well by Jamie Carragher, saying he always goes down. It was a shocking challenge. But Carlo Ancelotti said that almost straight after the game that he believes Richarlison will be okay. It's more of an impact challenge and that he should be able to walk it off. He spoke today on Richarlison. He said he didn't train today, but he's hoping that he'll train tomorrow and Sunday, and then he shouldn't have a problem basically being fit for Monday's game. So I've gone for Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Obviously Richie getting his first goal back since the return of the Premier League on Wednesday. Really, really good finish, like we said. Fantastic ball in from Anthony Gordon and a really, really clever finish. Then have to go off not so long afterwards, which is disappointing. Dom again hasn't hit the ground running in terms of goals since the return, but you can't fault his work rate. He's ran around, he's been absolutely unbelievable since the return of the Premier League in terms of his physicality, getting himself about the pitch, winning the ball in dangerous areas, using his body, making himself a nuisance. Who are your strikers then? Have you gone with the same two, or have you mixed it up a little bit?
Yeah, the exact same. You know that I don't really rate Moise Kean as high as a lot of other Evertonians, but I could understand why you'd put him in. He does need confidence. He's a very energetic player and does cause problems. When he comes on, he causes so many problems against teams. But we've got to go with them front two. In my opinion, there's not many striking partnerships better than them in the league than Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, Dom's not hit the ground running like you said, but it's his build-up play. And, I'm not comparing them on quality, but the way they play is quite similar. If you watch Calvert-Lewin to when Rooney played for us, there was 3 or 4 players on Calvert-Lewin like they used to be on Rooney, which opens up so many other options, which can help the likes of Andre Gomez and Gylfi Sigurdsson, who we know have that passing ability to pick out players. And that's why, look at the Leicester game, you had Soyuncu and Evans, their eyes was on Dom, thinking we were going to give the ball to Dom, and Gordon put it through to Richarlison, and Richarlison hit it in. We know Richarlison, in my opinion, the best Brazilian forward in the country. Firmino is just, he's the Brazilian Ashley Barnes. You know what I mean? He works hard but doesn't get goals. Richarlison gets goals, and he's a much better player. He's fat, he's a fast, strong player, and you know what? He runs defenders wild, and we know how crap Spurs defence is at the moment. I'm playing against someone like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, who had goals. They have bags of pace, bags of strength. It's a nightmare. And as much as I want Moise to do well, I don't think he's there yet. I want him to do well, but why play him when there's no need to play him in such a big game against Spurs? And it's got big. Whoever wins, they could be in Europe. I mean, this is a massive game for both teams, so I'd like to see Richie and Dom up front. Yeah, but obviously, what do you think of that?
Spot on, mate. I couldn't agree more. You mentioned about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and making a nuisance of himself. Carlo Ancelotti was asked a direct question today by another shithouse journalist question saying, "Oh, how do you feel about the fact that Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't scored since the return of the Premier League?" And he basically said, "I don't." He said, "I don't ask me strikers to score. Never have asked them to score. I asked them to be humble. I asked them to work hard, and I asked them to get about the pitch and do the business." And that's what Dominic Calvert-Lewin does. I think he made a comment along the lines of saying that he hasn't seen ever in his career two strikers in Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin that work so hard defensively as well as attackingly, and that's coming from Carlo Ancelotti, who's worked with. Again, I'd be here all day if I was to list the amount of world-class players he's worked with. So it shows that...
Niassi.
Nias Martina. But it shows that Carlo's obviously really, really impressed with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as are we all. Like you said, he's a player that usually with some strikers, if they don't score, you can almost guarantee they've had a shite game if they're not scoring, because they may stand around or they might get involved. With Dom can have a man-of-the-match performance and not be on the score sheet. Dom can have a man-of-the-match performance.
Look at the United 4-0.
Exactly.
Last year.
Spot on at Goodison Park. Dom can have a man-of-the-match performance and not get an assist because he gets his body about. He puts himself in the way. He uses his body. It's very physical. He scares defenders, he brings defenders to him, which ultimately, like you mentioned there, leaves space for other players, and he's fantastic, as is Richarlison, and the hope obviously is that
Dom's improved on his passing ability as well. Like last year, there was countless times. I can remember, the defeat against Watford last year. I think it was the 1-0 defeat. I can't remember if Dom... I don't know if it was the Watford game actually, but I do remember one of the games where Dom was through, but he turned there and tried to pass it to Richie, and one of the other defenders got it, and then we conceded from that. But this year, he's I don't know what he's been eating, because he's faster, he's stronger, we've gone from Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man 3 in a few seconds with him. We went from having Niassi to Lukaku. That's what it's like. We have that striker who we know that in front of goal, he's going to score pretty much 9 out of 10 times. He might have the odd where he misses it, but you know what? I don't understand. I'd rather have him over Richarlison up top. Because Richarlison, he causes problems, but he's nowhere near as clinical as Dom. And, Dom had to work on that in the summer because he was great, he was great at heading the ball down, muscling off other players. But now that he's added goals to his game, trust me, mark my word, this lad in 3 or 4 seasons will be, he might, even if he leaves us, but he will be one of the best strikers, not just in the league, but in the entire world. He's a great striker with world-class potential.
I agree, and I hope it is with Everton. I really, really do hope so. So there you go. There's our predicted starting 11s. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. Just to visualise it, that's mine on the left-hand side of me. Cal's is very similar. However, he's got Tom Davis in there instead of Andre Gomez. He's got Sidibe in there instead of Bernard, and he's got Yerry Mina in there instead of Mason Holgate. So let me know your thoughts on both the predicted starting 11s in the comment section down below. On to Monday's game then. Listen, we all know it's going to be a tough game. Spurs, 9th in the Premier League, like we mentioned, just a point above Everton. So like Cal said, a massive game for both sides. It really, really is a massive game for both sides. A massive opportunity for Everton to not only take that one step up in the Premier League and climb a couple of places in the Premier League, but to also win that game against that side that we notoriously don't do well against away from home. And like I mentioned before, it's a big opportunity for us to do that. Spurs don't look great defensively and haven't looked great defensively for a large part of this season. Attacking, we know they can hurt us. We need to be strong. It's absolutely imperative that we are strong defensively on Monday night, because with the likes of Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, Son, who I know we don't like, but still a very good player, Steven Bergwijn, they've got a lot of players that can hurt us. And for me, I'm confident that we'll go out there and we'll play well defensively, because I've watched Everton over the last 2 weeks or so, and I've watched us play 3 games, one against the current champions, one against the side that are fighting for their lives, and one against the side that are fighting for Champions League football. And we've conceded 1 goal in those 3 games, and the goal come from a silly mistake and an unlucky error. And the other 2 would be, and even in that game against Leicester, we've been so good defensively. We've climbed up, we've won.
We should have 3 wins.
Exactly.
We should have 3 wins when you look at it. And so you said this about Marco Silva last year before he got sacked. Well, not last year before he got sacked, but when I think it was the 2-2 draw with Tottenham, funny enough, on the last day of last season. You said we've matched these teams. We've matched the big teams. The City game when we lost this year, that was just, it's Man City. You can't come. You're gonna lose to City. They're pretty much. We fought well, but they just had the better quality in the areas. The Arsenal game, I thought the referee, as we know, was absolutely horrendous in that game. And we should have won. We should have had a penalty, but VAR hates us. And the Manchester United game,
we won. We won fairly, and it got taken off us for no reason.
And it got took off as the Chelsea game it was meltdown. The Chelsea, it was complete meltdown. I know it's no excuse because they are professional players, but they had spent weeks, months of intense work, intense fight on the pitch. And you know what? That was just one game where we just didn't work and we paid the price for it. And then the Liverpool game, we should have beat them. We should have went out there and got if we were clinical. Not Dom at all. It wasn't Dom. Didn't really have much of it because of Van Dijk, but we could have got 2 or 3 goals against Liverpool, and then against Norwich we could have. Obviously, we would have liked more, but we won that game, and then we absolutely Carlo just destroyed the old Brendan Rodgers. So I'm loving playing the big teams because they think they can come to us and they think they can walk over us. But look, under Silva, I shat myself when we play teams like this because it's Marco Silva and he doesn't have a brain. But when you've got a man like Carlo Ancelotti, you think this man's beat everything. He's beat everyone. He's beat the man's managed Cristiano Ronaldo. So, he's the real deal. And he won leagues, Champions Leagues. He's the real deal. So I don't think we have any fear. And like I said, at the start, why can't we beat Tottenham? Like, why can't we?
That's exactly it. And that's the quote for the video. That's the quote for every Evertonian should be saying between now and Monday is, why can't we win this game? Although it's going to be a tough game, although it's a massive game, it's a very, very winnable game. And I said that about the Leicester game last week. I said it'll be tough, don't get me wrong. They've got a lot of good quality players, but it's a game that we should be winning. It's a winnable game. And I think the same about Monday's fixture. Listen, Tottenham are a very good side in terms of their attacking players, and they've got players that can hurt you. As long as we remain strong defensively, which we need to do, and we take our opportunities going forward, we're clinical. We're a little bit like the Leicester game in the first half. We don't take time to settle into the game. We go out there straight away, bish bash bosh. We get 2 goals in the first 20 minutes. We shock them. We push them back. We make sure that they're worried. Then there's no reason why we can't win this game. And like you said, it's a massive game for Everton football. It's a massive game for Tottenham, but it's a massive game for Everton because it will give us not only that extra boost of confidence of right, okay, we've gone to a side now that over the last 10 years, we haven't done well at. We've won. And we've also climbed the table massively, and we're putting pressure on your Wolves as your Sheffield Uniteds, and we could end this season strongly. Don't get me wrong, we've already had a good start to the restart of the Premier League, but if we can win this game on Monday, which I do believe we can win it, with Carlo Ancelotti in charge and his tactical prowess, and as long as the players are 100% up for it, and we're clinical in attack, and we're strong, and we're compact defensively, and we don't let their players get through. We don't let the likes of Bergwijn take, pass it through us. We don't let the likes of Son or Moura use their pace to break through us. We stop Harry Kane's quality in attack and clinicalness, and we create our own clinicalness going forward with Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Hopefully we see Anthony Gordon again. The midfield need to step up and have a much better game. Then I think we can win this game, and if we do win this game, I think it'll be massive. I really do think it'll be massive for Everton Football Club. And
I think, you made a great point there about the passing, but I don't really look at possession, because you look at City, for example, and Man City Fan TV, Martin from Man City Fan TV, as most of us on the fan channel will know, he says it's guilty chances that they miss, and they're the best at passing the ball around. Leicester, we gave Leicester pretty much the ball, and something we spoke about this in May, I can't remember if it was off camera or on camera, we said about Burnley, with how Burnley let us have the ball, and we couldn't break them down. We did that to Leicester. We said to Leicester, come on, play your pass and play. And what we did, and what we've done under Ancelotti, is we've stopped fast players using their pace because we've stopped them cutting in from the angle that they want to cut in. So they've just got to play going forwards, and they can't do it against our defence because, in my opinion, we've got one of the not strongest in quality, but physical. We've got one of the most physical defences in the country, and not many teams have done that. Chelsea did because they beat us in the midfield, because our midfield is horrendous, and that's how they beat us. But Liverpool, Sadio Mane mate, he could run for years and not stop. And Seamus Coleman was beating him to the ball every time. Salah got Digne destroyed Salah. So I'm not really that worried if they can have the ball. We can let them have the ball all they want, but as long as they don't create anything with it, then I'm fine with that. And we've proved that. We've never really, since Martinez really, I've never really been the team to have possession of the ball. No. But when we're clinical, we're deadly. When we're clinical, we're one of the top 6 best sides in the country. When we're clinical, when it's our day, not many teams can beat us. You look at a few years back against City, they had the possession, beat them 4-0. United, a few months back, had the possession, beat them 4-0.
Leicester the other day had a lot of the possession, but
you can have possession but lose. We used to moan at him, at Martinez for it all the time. We'd have 80%, 70% possession sometimes. Get beat 3-4-0. It doesn't really matter. It's looked upon too much because of Pep Guardiola from fans, because of that tiki-taka style. I don't care if we play 9 billion passes, but as long as we get the results, that's all that matters.
That's it, and that's why I was happy with the result against Leicester, because look, it wasn't the best second half performance. It wasn't fantastic to watch, but I don't care how good it is to watch. I don't care how entertaining it is for Sky Sports or for a neutral fan. As long as we're winning games of football, that's all that matters. And at the moment, we're winning games of football, and we're winning them against sides that have had good seasons. So anyway, that's going to do it for today's preview. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. I'll leave Cal's links in the description down below. Twitter, Instagram, etc. Go and follow him if you want. Definitely go and follow him. He knows his stuff, of course. Big thanks, Cal, for coming on and joining us. Hopefully you'll be back on within the next couple of weeks or so. We'll get you back on. Let us know your thoughts on the game on Monday, of course. Are you confident going into it? I think we all need to be confident. It's a very winnable game. It's a tough game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's a game that we can win, and we should believe we can win. And judging by Carlo Ancelotti's press conference today, I think he believes that, and the players believe that as well. Big thanks for coming on, Cal. Anything to say before we finish up?
Just let's be optimistic. Let's not go, are you deluded if you think that we can smash them? We are the Toffees. We're the best team in the country. We've got the best fans in the world. We had the greatest player in the Assy. He left. But we're the best team. Come on, you Toffees. We will smash Tottenham. Let's go, you Blues.
Spot on. Love the confidence, and every other Evertonian should have that same confidence, because this isn't an unbelievable Tottenham team. It's a good Tottenham team, but we've just played a good Leicester team and beat them. And with Carlo Ancelotti in charge, I think we could beat a lot of teams that we mightn't have been able to beat prior to that. Big game on Monday. Let us know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. Like I said, don't forget to join us Monday night. We'll have the player ratings. We'll have the instant match reaction straight after the game, and then we'll be live on Tuesday, 5:15, for the live game review of the game. Massive game for Everton. Will be a massive 3 points if we can win. But let's see how Carlo Ancelotti and the lads do. Big thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.